where within the first week of April 2016, Trump has officially ordered a direct hit on President Bashar al-Assad's Syrian-controlled turf. 50 missiles have been launched and they cost about $70 million. The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau declared his full support of the US missile launches, encouraging a controlled and focused attack on the chemical-using regime of Bashar al-Assad. Not everyone's happy about this, but this inspired me to bring up one very important topic that doesn't seem to be brought up too often: narcissism. Look, at the time of this video, the US President of the United States is President Donald J. Trump, or if you prefer, DJ Trump. Now, the Donald shows tendencies that are found in approximately 1 out of every 5 major CEOs. Psychopathic tendencies. Don't get me wrong, I'm in no way a liberal nor a Democrat. I usually ebb the line and end up voting for the Green Party. That is, if I actually am an American to start with. But my point isn't to call Trump a psychopath because I have no physical evidence. I don't have a note from some sort of psychologist or anything, right? But I'm merely observing and studying his behavior and stipulating a hypothesis based on what I see. Now, if you see, Trump seems to suffer from some sort of superiority complex. He hates being perceived as weak and does everything in his power to not seem so. This can be evidenced and backed up by his gruesome handshakes where he pulls politicians in and where he tries to show his dominating side. For example, when he didn't shake hands with the PM of Germany. But that being said, evidence suggests that he avidly displays his status and tries his best to dwarf other politicians he is meeting with. And this is what's so dangerous about him. The fear of being perceived as weaker or lesser might cause people to make irrational decisions, and this can lead to severe consequences to both sides. A president that values his display of power so much might not be willing to bend to avoid conflict. And this can lead to loss of life, as well as terrible consequences to the diplomatic relations between said president and the nation he is dealing with. To sum it up, having the characteristics of a dominant non-negotiator might cause you to make a decision that will potentially start a war, as well as cause huge economical and diplomatic problems. I sincerely hope that the president you have at the time of this video is not a narcissist or a psychopath. But the fact remains the same. If Trump continues on this road of non-negotiation, he will one day hit a stone that is slightly stronger than the pebble he's been kicking. This will either force him to bend down and move out or break his legs trying to kick it. What do you think happens when China or Russia calls him out on something he said he would do but didn't do? He might do it just to prove them wrong, and the only consequences of his action will be that the damage to us, the US and Canadian citizens. Now think about it like this. What does a president have to lose? Sure, he can sign a war order, or he can sign a ban on this, a ban on that, but let's say he signs a war order. What the president isn't going to be fighting in this war. He's going to be sitting in his bunker while we'll be drafted. For what? For conflict we shouldn't even be involved in, for conflict on the other side of the planet. I understand we should be pointing, I don't want to stipulate anything, and this is just my opinion, right? And I'm completely fine with any other opinion, because that's the point of having an opinion. But just to think about it like this: why should we send troops or drop $70 million worth of missiles on some remote place that only has strategic interest to us and nothing to the US citizens? We're wasting so much money on making sure we have the strategic advantage against these bigger nations, but all of this money can be put to better cause. I mean, and think about it anyways. In a war, anything can happen. It's not like you'll have the upper hand by controlling Syria or sure, the Middle East is a great strategic position, but controlling Syria, controlling this or controlling that won't change much when a real war hits the door, because nations will betray each other, nations will choose their sides, nations will do this, nations will do that, some nations will fall, some new nations will rise. It's completely unpredictable. And I personally think that money could have went to promote education or find houses for the homeless within our countries. Thank you.